Hello and welcome back to the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. And before we get too much into this, just letting everyone know how things are working. It appears YouTube has been going in and out. Things have been going wrong. We're going to try to just do our show as normal. If for some reason it cuts out, we're definitely going to make sure we at least post this show after the fact, so you'll still be able to watch it. But yeah, as always, I am joined here by the man who has 7 less passing touchdowns than the entire New York Jets team this year. Kyle, how are you doing?
I'm good. Fun stuff, obviously, on Sunday, getting to see Joe Flacco now.
Yes.
Better than Joe Montana. It's been confirmed. So Joe Flacco.
We already knew that.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, has Joe Montana gone 11 touchdowns, no interceptions in a playoff run? I don't think so.
Did you see the graphic they made for that?
Yeah, that's funny. I actually looked back at this. They've made a they reused that graphic. They had the dancing Joe Flacco in a previous year.
Oh man,
yeah.
ESPN is out of the graphics department for them in Sunday Night Football has been out of this world this year.
It's fantastic. There's a whole subreddit, Monday Night Football gifts. I believe it is. It's fantastic. Yeah. Let's just start there. As always, we like to talk about the Monday game. Then we get into our picks. Your Patriots with a huge come-from-behind win over a winless team. It's kind of a weird one. I saw Hook Cam was saying, hey, I know it's the Jets, but at least we get some momentum going. What is your thought on this game? Is it like at least I mean, it's obviously better than losing to the Jets, but how do you feel about this game?
I mean, it was ugly. It was ugly at the first half. They very clearly did not play well in the first half of this one, where the Jets scored 20 points, which the Jets scoring 20 points in the game seems like a miracle at times. They did in the first half of this one. I wasn't like the one part where I really got pissed about it as a Patriots fan was the 38-second drive when 2 plays right before the end of the half. Joe Flacco gets another freaking pass interference call, and then he follows it up with an absolute dime where nobody. The coverage was so bad in the first half. I mean, they had the ball 21 of the 30 minutes in the second half, so they better win it at that point. They completely dominated the second half. I thought the secondary in Flacco's limited time was better. That 2-minute drill that the Jets tried to run was just horrific, and then Cam ended up getting it done at the end. And Jacoby Myers is fun. I like Jacoby Myers. He needs more touches. So, I mean, you take the win. You take a win as you can get it. Obviously, you're not pleased, but I also think that this is probably where the Patriots are, and I think people kind of just need to accept that. I think they've still been getting a lot of like, oh, wow, it's the Patriots, though. I mean, this is not a very good football team. I mean, this is probably – I was just looking at the schedule. This is probably, unless they pull off a couple upsets, a 6-win team. That's what this team is. It's a 6-win team this season. So,
you know what it is? It's 2018 because they did not look good 2018. That was the year that should have been like they should have lost to Kansas City. They probably should have lost to the Chargers just like in our minds. And then they go on and win the Super Bowl. And so then we were all like, we can never count this team out again, no matter how bad it starts. So everyone's just afraid to count them out. Yeah, they don't look great. I mean, and honestly, I thought Flacco actually, he made some good plays too. Like that touchdown, at the end of the first half, that was just like a perfect throw. Like it's hard to really defend that too much. And for the Patriots, I mean, it's a rebuilding year. I think we kind of knew this was coming in. For the Jets, is it concerning at all that Joe Flacco is by far and away outperforming Sam Darnold?
Yeah. I mean, I think we've been concerned about Sam Darnold for a couple of years. I mean, once again, I thought this offense, I thought got a little bit worse too in the second half when Mekhi Becton went out, who can't really seem to stay on the field, it seems like. But I mean, this was their best performance to date. A lot of it had to do with, they were playing a defense who didn't do a very good job in the first half. It still seems like they can't stop the run. The Jets don't really run with any consistency, though, is the problem. And they have an 800-year-old running back. But, I think that, you look at it, Flacco made some really good throws. I don't know what it is, but he made some really good throws when they really needed him to. It wasn't so much about the Patriots coverage wasn't good in a lot of them too, but at the same time, if you're dropping dimes, it doesn't matter what the coverage is.
Yeah, and I mean, like the coverage wasn't great, but I also thought that, yeah, I thought this is weirdly the Jets maybe are getting something together, and it just feels like I know that their schedule is kind of tough, but it feels like this isn't an 0-16 team. They didn't look like an 0-16 team on Monday night. But then again, I do think about, the 0-16 Browns. They had like 11 of these games. So it's
Yeah.
kind of for the Jets. It's like you almost feel like you had to win this one to just put the 0-16 to bed, and they weren't able to get it done. Which, that's kind of they're not really good at football, so it's understandable.
They've had a couple games where they've looked a little frisky. Obviously, it was this one. Their two games against Buffalo were pretty close. Those are both 10 and 8 point finishes. But yeah, I mean, obviously the talent's not there, but they're probably. I mean, I don't know. I'm still going to bet on them to go on 16 right now, just based off the team and the talent around it. But they can easily steal a game. It seems like this team's capable of it, at least with Flacco as their quarterback.
Yeah, and week 17 they played New England again. New England will probably be just ready for the season to be over. But the Jets, maybe if they're 0-15, they'll be desperately wanting to get that win. Maybe they could finally squeak one out at on week 16 or 17. And also, part of me, they can't. I don't mind them going on 16, but you better not come for our record. You better not beat the Bucs 24 straight losses. Don't even think about it.
Don't come for it.
Uh-huh.
Did you? I saw this stat that I thought was brilliantly made, and I lost it. I didn't write it down. I suck. But it basically is based on going forward on fourth down and the risk percentage, and like basically who's pushing in out of fourth downs the most. And it said the Jets' fourth down. It was early in the game. They had a 4th and 3 at the 41-yard line. Was in the 99.9 percentile of plays you should have gone for it on fourth down and the coach punts. And yeah, 99.9 percentile, like all time. Like that's just wild to me. So
In fairness though, that doesn't factor in the fact that you're the Jets on offense as well. So maybe there's some less chance of it going well than if you were an actual NFL offense.
I mean, I guess, but at the same time,
no, it's still bad. I'm not saying.
Yeah.
Kenneth Lee, thoughts on the Joe Flacco interception? I mean, it wasn't good, but he was clearly just having fun out there. It seemed like just seeing what he could get away with, and didn't work out.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a better performance in the second half from the New England secondary. It was a good read, I thought, by J.C. Jackson. I mean, the Jets, those last two possessions, I thought were just abysmal. There's no reason to throw into double coverage, up a score in the fourth quarter. It was like, there's 6 minutes to go in the game. You want to churn out, at least a couple minutes off of that clock. You don't need to take a 50-yard shot. And then the second, the second one was just abysmal. It was a 3-and-out when they had a chance to go down and win the game. And it was like they snapped it. They got 8 yards. Then it was a sack. And then they snapped the ball with something like 18 seconds left on the play clock. Instead of just winding the clock down, there's 59 seconds left, and the Patriots show they're not interested in using any of their timeouts. They snap the ball and throw an incomplete pass like anything was going to happen out of it. It was just a very weird situation from them. I mean, they're 0-9, but yeah, I mean, the team completely cratered at the end of the game.
Yes. Yeah, not great, but we'll see if the Jets can pick up a win. So now let's move on. That's the Monday night game. Let's talk this week 10 preview, what you're all here to see. As the game goes, we will take turns giving each other a game to pick. We will pick all of the games this week. I have a 4-point lead. It's the lowest score wins. Kyle's missed 25 so far, past the halfway point. I've missed 21 so far, past the halfway point. Kyle, you had a bounce back week. You went 6-1 last week. So we'll see if you can keep it going. As you almost had tied me, because I got that one lead, and then you almost tied me, and then you had you saw in your face one week, but now you're coming back again. We'll see if you can keep it going, but you are still in last, so you will be giving me the first game.
All right. I'm going to give you this game because you love this team, and they're going to lose this week. It's over. They're going to lose this week. Minnesota at Chicago, two teams trending in different directions. Who do you got?
Okay, so I don't understand this idea that all of a sudden Kirk Cousins can beat the Bears easily. Like, let's not forget, this Vikings team is not good. This is the worst version of the Vikings that we've seen. Kirk Cousins has never had any success with Chicago. Every single time he's played Chicago, he's just been terrible. Chicago can stop the run. And we've been talking about this. The Vikings look great if they can run the ball. They look abysmal if they can't run the ball. They're not going to be able to run. They're not going to be able to, let me say this. They won't be able to have a 200-yard day from Dalvin Cook. Cousins is going to have to throw the ball. Cousins is going to freak out. He's going to throw a couple interceptions. And I think that this is a defense that Chicago might be able to get, 150 passing yards, 200 passing yards maybe. I think the Chicago Bears win this game. And I know I keep falling in love with Chicago. I just think they're better than Minnesota. They've always destroyed Minnesota, and they're a better matchup. I think this is clearly Chicago's win. Why do you feel like Chicago's going to lose?
I'm all about the momentum right now. The momentum's clearly swung in Minnesota's favor between these two teams. And, the Bears are very good against the run. You're completely right. But not a lot of teams are very good against the run when Dalvin Cook's in the backfield. I think he's been the best player in football the last couple of weeks. And I think he's going to be able to turn out some yards here, even against the Chicago front. I think Justin Jefferson's going to be able to make some plays. I just think that Minnesota's playing better football right now, and I think they're going to win this game. I don't think it's going to be beautiful, but I think they're going to win this game like 23-10, and I don't trust the Bears getting 20 points.
I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the 20 points thing is interesting. I mean, clearly for Chicago, the mindset should be, let's Allen Robinson can beat any one of their corners. Let's try to get that matchup early and often. For whatever reason, Matt Nagy thinks that Allen Robinson's like his third best receiver. Like he's having him run setup routes on third down. I don't know what he's doing. I made a video about that that I uploaded during the YouTube blackout, so that didn't work out well. But that is the concern, is the offense. I don't know how much healthier their offensive line is going to be. They've had some real problems, and they have to try and get better. But I do think this is a worse. It's not a much worse defense than the Titans. Their offense is terrible. I can't see Kirk Cousins not turning the ball over in this game.
Cousins is the wild card here. So I've had to watch basically every single one of these Bears games because I have Allen Robinson in fantasy football, and it's been so fucking frustrating watching them wait till the third quarter to throw them the ball. It's just so I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't trust anything about this team right now. I think that they are at times abysmal and at times at best mediocre, and that's simply because they give Allen Robinson the ball. I'm out on Foles. I'm out on David Montgomery. I'm out on Matt Nagy. I'm out on that whole group besides Robinson. Mooney looks good too, but I'm just out on that team right now. So if they lose to Minnesota, are you done on this team?
Yeah, I am. But I'm kind of already done on this team. I don't think I said last week, I think this team absolute ceiling is they squeak into the playoffs because of their easy schedule and find a way to get one upset win in the playoffs. I don't think they can do any better than that. I'm also looking at I decided to go back and look at the Vikings schedule. It's interesting. The only real time we've seen Dalvin Cook go up against a good defense was against Indianapolis. And he had some success there. He went 14 carries, 63 yards. That's 4.5. But this is really it's a new thing, I feel like, seeing him going up against a defense this good. And it should just be fun to watch. And it should be an interesting battle. And I do think for Minnesota, the mindset really is we have to find a way to get something going through the ground. And I don't know. Could you see a scenario where, let's say, Chicago is once again down like 7-3 at the half? Could you see Trubisky come back in the game?
Well, it sounds like from what I heard, he might not be able to play for the year or something. Something about his shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah,
there's something about his shoulder that bad.
Yeah, I don't know what the deal is, but
okay, never mind.
I think the reason why because the debate was put to rest, I thought, pretty quickly because of his shoulder injury that he was out last week. Because I think Trubisky is better than Foles because I think at least with a bad offensive line, he can move a little, which helps. Even though I don't know why Nagy doesn't just roll him out almost every play he gets, because that's what he does best. He doesn't do a lot really well, but I think he can roll out and make some plays pretty well. And they just don't do that, it seems like. So, I would probably go Trubisky if he's healthy, but I just don't think he's healthy right now.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that bad. Bad job by me. We both screwed something up early on. I think this should be an interesting game. I do think this is kind of I don't know. I feel like there's just been. Here's my thing. I don't get how the Vikings are favorites in this game. This makes the 0 sense. The 5-4 team is underdogs to the 3-5 team, and the 5-4 team is the one that constantly owns the Minnesota. Like it makes no sense to me. I think bet the Bears of points is an easy bet for me. But again, the bets have been doing nothing. The Bears have been doing nothing. But me saying that they're great and everyone else just laughing at me and being like, no, they're not. I don't know why. it's like I don't know. I feel like it's just the reverse of like in Parks and Recreation, when everyone is in love with little Sebastian except for Adam Scott's character. I feel like you're Adam Scott, I'm everyone else, and the Bears are little Sebastian, where I'm going crazy saying they're great, and everyone else is just, and you're just like, no, they're clearly not.
No. I think if they lost that Tampa Bay game, which I think like 5 times or 9 times out of 10, they probably lose. I mean, I think the Buccaneers in that game committed an absurd amount of penalties, or not absurd amount, but just the penalties when they committed them were just at the worst opportunities. And then the other thing too is that Tampa moved the ball pretty well against Chicago, but as soon as they got into the other half of the field towards scoring range, it's just like the offense cratered. I think if Tampa Bay wins that game, which they probably should have, we're looking at this team a lot differently.
We don't need to keep bringing it up. Understood. Tampa Bay should have won.
Yes.
Don't keep rubbing it in.
I just think that we're looking at this Bears team a lot differently because, their other 4 wins are not against very good teams.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I do think that we probably view them differently. But hey, they got another not a very good team, so we'll see what they can do. Also, just to show my blind faith in the Bears, I had them at the 7th game on my list. It was number 1 on yours. So just, I don't know. I'm just convinced that they're better. I just love their defense. This team is a Super Bowl contender 20 years ago. It's just the rules have changed, and you can't be that bad on offense anymore. All right, let's move on. My turn to give you a game. I'm very happy I do not have to pick this one. I'm going to go Seattle versus the Rams. Rams are 1.5 point favorites, but they're also at home, so that's probably why. What is your take on this one? Because I don't know.
Yeah, this one's kind of a toss-up for me. Did you see the Josh Allen stats against Seattle? That like 24 of the first 25 plays were passing plays for Buffalo.
Oh, no, I did not see that, but it seems this, right.
Yeah, there's just so much disrespect going towards this secondary right now. And I just think that's a problem. They basically need Russell Wilson to play superhuman the entire time. And, I think he can do that for about 10, 11 games. I don't know if he's going to be able, when we were looking at, this could be the best team in the NFC. I don't think this team's winning 13 games because they're asking him to essentially be Superman all the time. And I just don't think that's realistic or even possible. I don't know what it is with the Seattle defense. I don't know. There's good players in that secondary. I've talked about this. I'm going to lean Rams on this one. I've been we've been, this may be my version of the Bears. But I like their offense compared to you liking the Bears defense. I just feel like I like this Rams team. I think they're capable of beating anyone. They got good players in the secondary that can make some plays. Aaron Donald's going to wreak havoc. And yeah, I mean, I think the thing that we've seen, I said it with Jared Goff, it seems like he really struggles with elite level secondaries, but defensive lines seem to not make as much of an impact because he's still, even against that Bears team, he looked pretty cool and calm against that Bears front with Khalil Mack. I think a lot of it has to do with secondaries with him. And, this is the worst secondary in football right now. I don't think they are talent-wise, but they're playing like it. I'm going to go with the Rams.
Yeah, I had the Rams as well. I do think that I could easily see Seattle winning it, but I think that what I love about the Rams is that they're just a very complete team. Their defense, again, in terms of points per drive, best in the NFL. This is a really good defense, and their offense can get it done. Here's my concern for LA is that Russell Wilson has, this off, and it's not just Russell Wilson. He's getting most of the credit. They also have a ton of receivers. Their backs are hurt right now, but this offense has been mowing down their competition no matter how good it is on defense. So that should be just a lot of fun to watch. One of the best offenses versus one of the best defenses. My concern, though, is if the Rams try to just do what they do, which we saw the 49ers do this, where the Rams like to run the ball a good amount, and they like to sort of do these play actions, do these rollouts, take advantage of the linebackers. Again, they have Bobby Wagner. You don't want to try to take advantage of that guy. You throw away from that guy. That's what you do. And so if the Rams have the right game plan, I think they win. My concern is, will they have the right game plan? And more importantly, do they feel like they can implement an entire new game plan, or not an entire new game plan, but at least like enough new plays and all their players can run it successfully in just 1 week? That could be tough.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's going to be interesting to see how these two match up. But I mean, I don't think you really need to adjust much against the Seattle defense right now. Why are you concerned about anything that the Seattle team can provide, other than if Jamal Adams forces like 3 fumbles in a game somehow? I'm not threatened by the Seattle team defensively at all. I'm not really worried about that side. And I just think the Rams defense is capable of making some turnovers. I mean, it's not a coincidence that the 2 bad games that the Seahawks have played that they lost was because Russell Wilson turned over the ball. Because their defense isn't going to be able to keep up if the Seahawks lose, 1 possession. So if the Rams are able to take away, once or twice, that might be all they need.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. I mean, it is interesting, and I think it's so interesting where like people talk about how Russell Wilson basically has to be perfect, and that's true. It's also fair though that when the opposing team's offense also has to be pretty close to perfect. I mean, you're going up. It's easier for them to be perfect because it's a worse competition. But like you could see Jared Goff making a couple mistakes, throwing the ball away a couple times, and that could cost them a few possessions. And you could easily see Seattle winning it. Again, I don't love this Seattle defense at all. I don't think anyone does. But they also have maybe the best offense in the league. So if they can just the Rams are the correct pick, but you could definitely see Seattle squeaking it out.
Yeah. I think there's a couple toss-ups, I think, in this week, especially divisional matchups. So this is one of them for me as well. But yeah, I'm just going to lean the Rams right now. I don't love the pick, but just lean in that way.
Yeah, it's a tough one. All right, now it's your turn to pick a game.
All right, this one could decide a division. I think it's a compelling game. I think everyone should tune into it. I think it's Thursday night, actually. Indianapolis at Tennessee.
I hope people appreciated my NFC East joke there. But yeah, the Colts Titans, though, this is good. It's the thumbnail game for this week. It should be very fun. This one was also very high up on my list. It's you could definitely see it going either way. I think that they're so interesting. Where this Indianapolis team, their defense has been good. And they get turnovers as well, which is very key. And then meanwhile for Tennessee, they're pretty much this sort of, they're kind of like Seattle in that sense. Great offense, defense hasn't been great. Their defense played well against Chicago. I know it was Chicago. They also played well. Like both can be true. And they did play well in that game, even though it's an easy team to play well against. I think I'm going to give the edge to Tennessee. They are home. Who knows how much that matters with COVID. But honestly, who knows how much that matters without COVID. I do think that this is a team that Indianapolis, they kind of like to just play their zone coverage. I feel like that could be a problem against a team like Tennessee that can take advantage of that. On the flip side, I just feel like Phillip Rivers, it's just too much. There's too much of a wild card. And I trust Tannehill to not make mistakes way more than I trust Rivers to not make mistakes, even though I'm not like Tannehill does make mistakes, but he's just nowhere near Rivers' level.
Yeah, I mean that's the biggest wild card I think for me, because I actually think Indianapolis defensively can match up pretty well. You mentioned that zone defense might struggle, but they've shown even against a team like Baltimore that they can defend the run really well. I mean, I think they're second in the league in rushing yards allowed. They're only giving up 3.3 yards a carry, which is tied for first, and pretty absurd number, honestly. I think this defense is legit. I like a lot of how the Colts can match up with this one. It seemed like I think I saw T.Y. Hilton might play, so that's reassuring too. But you have Phillip Rivers, and it's so hard to pick Phillip Rivers. I really like this Colts team outside the quarterback position, but that is the difference in a lot of football games if you have a bad quarterback. So I would probably lean Tennessee just because of the quarterback situation. So tough game for this could be it for Phillip Rivers if he doesn't look good in this one too.
You think they could go with Brisket?
I mean, if you look, I guess If he's making a couple mistakes that clearly lose you this game, and this is pretty much deciding the division, why would you continue to go with him?
Because he says funny things. He doesn't curse, but he complains. He'll
I
say
mean,
like, "What the heck."
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, no, but the thing about Rivers too is all he has to do is not turn the ball over, and then this Colts team is basically the Titans. Like I feel like you could even argue a better version because they have a better defense. Like the Colts are a better version of the Titans when Rivers is on. So that's kind of why it's a good pick by you because it could definitely go the other way. Hopefully for me it goes for the Titans, so I can continue to beat you in this game.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's so tough because I've liked the Colts all season. But yeah, it's so hard to trust a guy. If you're a quarterback who has to come out because he can't throw a 50-yard Hail Mary, it's probably time to hang it up. That's my overall opinion on Phillip Rivers.
Is that why Andrew Luck retired?
Well,
he said,
no.
they're bringing up this guy to throw a Hail Mary. I guess I got to get out of here.
But he had an arm. I remember when the end of Chad Pennington's run, when he was on the Dolphins, they brought in Cleo Lemon to throw Hail Marys, and I just thought that was the most ridiculous thing. Yeah, if you can't throw a 50-yard Hail Mary, you probably are done as a quarterback in the NFL. That's my unprofessional opinion.
Yeah, Sauce Boss says, I don't know, AJ Brown is definitely better than any of the wide receivers the Colts have. That's a good point. I'm glad Sauce Boss is helping me out here.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree. And I think he, I don't think he's going to get any of the big, like, deep plays that he has from time to time. But I think, a lot of coming across the middle, like you said, against that zone defense, I think they could shred him apart that way. But, I mean, I don't think he's going to hit any big plays like he did last week.
Yeah. Also, before Todd Clemens says he has 9 kids, go home to them. I actually have a theory. I think that Rivers is making sure he's playing as long as possible because of the 9 kids. I think this is his just stay over,
financial incentive.
Yes, I was just saying so he doesn't have to deal with his kids, but yeah, I guess that as well. All right. So that was that one. I will give you a game. I'll give you another one that's gonna have division implications. How about the Eagles Giants battle for the ages in the NFC Beast? Who do you got?
Yeah, I had this one. I think it was 5th on my list. I had one more game before it, but yeah, I mean, I think this is kind of a toss-up, but at the same time, I'm picking Philadelphia. I think the Giants' newfound kind of running game is going to be non-existent again. I don't think they're going to have success against this Philly defense. I think Jones is good for 2 turnovers. He didn't have a turnover last week, so that means he's good for probably 3 this week. He just has to get it out of his system. I know Carson's going to have a couple turnovers probably on his end too, but I just think him and Travis Fulgham are going to be enough on offense, and the Eagles defense gets it done. I think the Eagles are going to solidify themselves as division champs pretty quickly.
The Giants are 2-7. If the Giants win this game, they will be a half game out of a playoff spot. Yeah. That's where we're at right now. This is incredible. I love it. Yeah, I mean, the Giants had the Eagles dead to rights the first time they played. Jones wasn't great, but they still were up. I believe it was 21-10. And Wentz got those 2 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and that appeared to be like, okay, here we go. Here's the Carson Wentz that we know and love. And he was able to do, they then beat the Cowboys. They have a bye week. You want to be able to keep it going. And for the Eagles, they probably feel like, hey, they haven't lost in 3 weeks now, so this is going well for them. I do think that this is a game that could go the other way, though. I think that the matchup is an issue. I think that Carson Wentz, I saw a stat that not only does he lead the league in interceptions, he leads the league in drop interception. You lost the audio? Can you hear me? Testing. You can't hear me? Chat, let us know what's going on in the chat. Can you hear me?
Hey, one sec.
Okay. Kyle is, I don't know if it's his headphones or what. Okay. The headphone's dead, perhaps? Okay. Okay. So chat can hear me. All right. Can you hear me now? You there? The chat can hear me. Apparently, Kyle cannot. Or
All
maybe
right,
this.
I can hear you.
Okay, I wasn't sure if you were maybe trying to get out of talking about the NFC East, perhaps.
Yeah, I don't know. My AirPods just cut off, so same thing as last week, but or last Sunday, but that's weird. Anyway,
Okay, we're back.
so
I was just saying that I saw a stat. Carson Wentz not only leads the league in interceptions, he leads the league in dropped interceptions. I mean, he has to clean it up.
yeah, no, I mean the everything that's been talked about Carson Wentz this season, I thought a lot of the stuff that he got for losing playoff games and all that stuff is kind of overblown. But everything that's been talked about him this year is 100% legitimate. I think that he hasn't been very good at taking care of the football. He's made bad decisions, and not only is he making bad decisions with turning over the ball, he's taking bad sacks and just killed drives almost on his own. But he's also more talented than Daniel Jones, and so I'm just going to go that way with it. Yeah, I mean that last Giants Eagles game I thought was kind of weird too. I think that was the game, if I remember correctly, that like the Eagles had like 8 red zone possessions and the Giants had 2, and it ended up being a 1-point game. So I just think that they bounce back and get the win.
Yeah, it seems right. I mean, I also like the Giants defense better than the Eagles defense, but I mean, the only way to beat the Eagles is by through the air, really, or I guess with 80-yard touchdown or not quite touchdown runs with the Daniel Jones one. But I feel like they'll be able to stop the run, and every team can stop the run against the Giants. Seems like it's the Philly win, but again, who knows in the NFC East? Please let the Giants win. Just let it completely go to hell. Please let that happen. All right, we'll move on. So now it's time for you to give me a game.
All right. I'm going to go with another really good matchup. I think everyone's going to tune into this one because it should be probably the most exciting game of the week. Buffalo at Arizona.
Yeah, Arizona's been playing a number of exciting games, I think. Yeah, it's interesting. This was also next on my list. We seem to be, with the exception of how much I love the Bears, we seem to be in lockstep here. I think that I am going to go with Buffalo. I think that this is an interesting one where Josh Allen was so good last week, and I don't know if he can continue to do that. But again, he's against another defense that isn't great. It's not as bad as Seattle's because I don't know if there is a defense that's as bad as Seattle's. But I do think that I can see Allen being able to get done. So I'm picking Buffalo. I had this thought before we get too much into this matchup. I had a thought, and it makes perfect sense to me. Everyone gets compared to this guy, but I feel like the one guy who hasn't gotten compared to him, actually, there's some comparisons to be made. Is Josh Allen the closest thing we've seen to Brett Favre? I'm not saying he's at that level. Brett Favre won 3 straight MVPs, but just the entire mindset of like, he's always trying to make something happen. And you're going to see things for better or worse that you won't see with any other quarterback than with Josh Allen. He has the total balls to the wall mindset. It'll result in some awesome games. It'll result in some terrible moments, especially. He is the guy who will throw 40-yard bombs to his fullback and try to, lateral the ball to a tight end in the playoff game against Houston. But is there something there?
I mean, I could see some of the comparison. Obviously, I think Allen's a better athlete, but at the same time, yeah, I see a lot of that too. I think that, he's played well this season, and when it looks good, it looks really good. So I would, I don't know. I think I would just because I don't trust Arizona's defense. I don't love a lot of the stuff that Cliff Kingsbury does on the offensive side, but at the same time, it seems like when you have Kyler Murray, it really doesn't matter because he just gets a lot of stuff done. And yeah, I mean, I just think that the Bills are going to be able to score a lot of points again in this one, and they're going to be able to get it done. I think it's interesting. So I was hearing a Matthew Berry talk about this actually. Kyler Murray would be like, if he just did his running stats, he'd be like the 3rd best running back in the fantasy football right now. So I mean, yeah. I think he's been awesome. I think that this is going to be a shootout because I don't trust either of these defenses, but I think I trust Buffalo's a little bit more, that there's good players on that team. But yeah, I'm just going to go Buffalo in this one.
Yeah, I think I like Arizona. I don't know. Arizona, I have such a hard time really getting a handle on what Arizona can do. Whereas for Buffalo, like we all thought Buffalo's defense was going to be great this season. It ends up being abysmal. The start, it's kind of found its way a little bit. I know they gave up 34 points to Seattle, but that honestly does feel like a good game because it was Seattle and they also got some turnovers. The Patriots and the Jets, they played well. Those aren't great defenses. Against the Chiefs, I thought they also played well. So it really was, I feel like, after their blowout loss to Tennessee, they've kind of gotten their act together. But, Arizona's played well too. It's a really tough one to get. I just like this Bills offense. I think this Bills offense is really good. And I think this Arizona offense, I think it's a bit overrated.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's fair because, I like the talent on the Arizona offense. I just think that there's way too many behind the line of scrimmage passes. There's way too many quick passes, especially when Kyler throws a really good deep ball. I think that he's capable of doing that and kind of, if they open it up and kind of let him loose a little bit, I think this offense would thrive, but they just don't do it as much.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and, Cliff Kingsbury, I don't know. I don't want to say I'm not a fan of him because, like, sometimes he does stuff I really like, and then there is something about, like, just throw the ball to DeAndre Hopkins more. Like, sometimes just, like, stop trying to be too smart. Just be stupid and just throw up bombs to Hopkins. I remember, and, Arizona, this is a team that's lost to Detroit. This is a team that's, they lost to Carolina. They've lost to some teams that you would think that, the Bills wouldn't lose to. I think Buffalo's the better team. I wouldn't be shocked if Arizona wins. I feel like I'm going to take the Bills just because there's, they're giving points here. But, if I had to make the line, I'd probably go with like a Bills -1.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I'm sure this is just the flying East Coast to West Coast and home field thing. I feel like, I don't know, you can disagree with me on this one if you want, but I think that Arizona's projection, kind of when you look at this team, I feel like there's the highest degree of variance between Arizona and probably the rest of the NFL teams. I feel like I could easily see Arizona go like 12-4 and win this division, but I could also see them like sneak into the playoffs at 9-7 or miss the playoffs altogether. I just feel like that there's two other sides. I just feel like that you could give me a bunch of different scenarios for Arizona, and I probably believe all of them.
Yes. Okay. K for Conic asked a good question. Is Bran a girl? That's a good question.
What?
Kyle, I'll let you feel that one.
What are we talking about here?
I have no idea. All right, we'll move on. Just wanted to confuse you. Okay, now it's your turn to give me a game.
All right, I'm gonna go with. I feel like those were like our 5 marquee matchups, and then from there, there's a few different directions I'm gonna go in. I'm gonna go Washington at Detroit. What's your pick for
my next one?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, again, you keep taking the one I'm about to give you. Oh wait, was this? Did I do it wrong? No, I picked the last one. So I was supposed to give you one. So I said. So I'm going to give you Washington versus Detroit. I said it wrong.
Yeah, that you're actually right. So okay, so let's see. Washington at Detroit, I think, is an interesting game. I think Kenny Golladay looks like he's not going to play again. I have zero faith in Matt Patricia, even though I still like some of this talent on this Detroit team. I think that Washington might have found something with putting Alex Smith back in. I'm going to go with Washington on this one to get the upset victory.
Oh, how about this? Okay, so we are off here. It never feels good when you pick a team coached by Matt Patricia. So I get it. Like, I understand the logic of just like not doing it. Does Arizona want to win? No. Does Detroit want to win? I think so. I think they want to win. They're not doing a very good job at it. I don't know. I feel like I don't get why people love this Washington team. Like, it's a really bad football team. And while I liked what I've seen out of Alex Smith, this is just maybe Alex Smith is what they need, and maybe Alex Smith will turn them around and they'll win the NFC East. Who knows? But I just feel like I just feel like this offense around Smith is really not good, and this Detroit team is talented. But then again, I think back to last week, and I think about how, or not last week, last year, when the Detroit Lions lost to Dwayne Haskins, and they gave up a game-winning drive to Dwayne Haskins. And Matt Patricia, fourth quarter genius, he can somehow win you Super Bowl 49. He can't win you a game with the monster that is Dwayne Haskins marching down the field. I'm happy that I actually don't have to pick this game because it sucks. And these are just, I'm not watching this game. I'm going to eventually watch it because I have to, but like I'm watching this game Saturday night. I'm watching it as late as possible.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's fair. There's not much I really feel I like about this game. You know, maybe you see Terry McLaurin go off. He's the most exciting part about this game, I feel like. But yeah, I don't think Washington's a good football team either. But I just don't love Matt Patricia. I think it's that simple for me. I'm not picking Matt Patricia to win a lot of football games this year. You know, if it's the Jets, sure, I pick him. But I just think that this Washington defensive line is going to be able to get a little bit done. And, you know, I liked a little bit of what I saw at Alex Smith. Obviously, you want to cut back on some of the turnovers, but I thought he threw the ball pretty well. I think he's going to be able to get the win here.
Yeah, you know, it's not something you see too often. Alex Smith did a great job racking up yards, but needs to cut down on the turnovers. That's not something usually said about Smith. But yeah, I mean, I think I got to go with the Lions. They're just the more talented team. Never trust Matt Patricia to not outcoach himself, but I just think they're a better team, and especially if Stafford is playing, which I believe he will be, they should be able to get it done, but who knows? Yeah. All right, we'll move on now. Now you do give me a game.
All right. All right, this is where it gets a little tougher for me. I'm going to go with
Brian. Before you get into it, Brian, great question. How can you say they are not I believe it's good, says goof football team. They are the football team. That's a good point. So
they are
well said.
They are the almost professional football team.
Yes. All right. Now you can go. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to go. All right. I feel like the rest of these games definitely have a clear-cut favorite. I'm going to go with I'm going to go San Francisco at New Orleans. Just quite simply, I think the underdog here is the best of the last remaining teams. So who do you got with this one?
I had this one. So finally, we have a pretty big difference here. I had them as the third to last game. I had the Saints winning it. I mean, and obviously, as you said, there's a clear favorite for it. I just think that, you know, the only way you can really beat the Saints coming off a huge win, the real way to beat the Saints is to beat them over the top. Are the 49ers going to beat you over the top? No. Is Nick Mullins going to be throwing dimes 50 yards down the field? No. I don't think they're going to get anything going on offense. And the Saints, they can stop the run with the best of them. I mean, their run stopping game is best in the league. And their offense, I talked about this in our preview before the Buccaneers game, they've been quickly improving. I see we have a super chat. I was trying to avoid this one because of the thumbnail or the profile image. Wild profile image. Again, Jackson, will you run for president in 2024? Again, appreciate the $5. And yeah, I'm going to run for president. I don't really know much about politics. So Kyle, I see you tweet about politics sometimes. I'll just do what you say, okay?
All right. I can be on your staff if you want.
Okay. Yeah, you won't. You're not vice president. My dog is vice president.
That's fine. I can be like chief of staff or something.
Okay. I don't know what that means. Sure.
All right. I'm signed up then.
All right. Yes. Okay. And Sauce Boss said he's going to vote for me, or she. Because could be male or female Sauce Boss. But yeah. Is that going to kill my campaign that I assume that someone who is the boss of Sauce is male?
Hey, you were covered on it. Good job by you on that one.
Yeah, I'm already in the campaign mode.
Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. So,
yes. All right. What were we talking about? Oh, right. Football. Yeah. Niners, Saints. Yeah. So yeah, I just think that the Saints are clearly the better team on both sides of the ball. If the Niners were healthy, this is a different story. The Niners are just way too banged up.
Yeah. No, I mean, I agree 100%. I feel like that there's very clear-cut favorites for the rest of these games. That's why I picked it. Could there be a letdown potential with this one with New Orleans? I mean, they had a big emotional win on, was that Sunday? Yeah, Sunday night. Could this be kind of a letdown after, riding high after that last game?
I mean, clearly it's not going to go as well as that game went, right? I mean, that was just like basically perfection by them. They outplayed Tampa Bay on essentially every snap. It's not going to happen in this game. But at the same time, I think it's possible. I could even see, I will say, I'll give you this. I would go Niners if you're giving me 9.5 points. I think that's a high line. But I just think that the Saints team is too good right now, and the 49ers are too injured right now. Also, people in the chat saying I'm not old enough to be president. You know what? No one asked you. Okay, I'll change the new laws. I'm the president now.
All right, there we go. So,
yeah. All right. You have anything to say about the Niners Saints?
No, I kind of agree with everything you said. I think the Saints should handle this one pretty easily. I just don't love the rest of these games.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you the next one. The team that is destined to lose this game in heartbreaking fashion. The Chargers playing Miami. People are very high on Miami right now after a couple big wins. But the Chargers have, they're scrappy.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning this one?
I mean, they are scrappy, but I think this could be like the one game of the season where Justin Herbert looks like a rookie. I think that this Dolphins defense is legit. I think they do just about everything really well, but especially I really like that secondary. I like the defensive line they have, or the pass rushers they have. I just think that, I think that I could see Herbert really struggling in this one and Miami winning pretty easily. I don't think they're going to wipe them out 38-3. Like we saw last Sunday night. We're not going to see 38-3, but I could see a pretty handle 24-3 finish in this one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I have a hard time. I feel like Herbert will find a way to get something going. But yeah, this Dolphins defense has been awesome, and that is a very good point. What's the pathway for the Chargers to win the game? Is it just Herbert balls out and is able to get a few big plays and doesn't turn the ball over?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of what he has to do. I mean, as far as I'm aware, I don't think Austin Eckler is going to be back. So I don't love that they can't really establish much of a running game. The Dolphins aren't great against the run. They're actually 9th in yards allowed per run, or yards allowed for the season, and 4th in yards per carry allowed. They allow almost 4.9 yards per carry. But I just don't love the Jackson and Josh Kelly combination to be able to take advantage of that. Maybe they're able to establish a little of that, and it opens up some passing plays, and Keenan Allen makes a couple big plays. I just don't think that there's enough in that running game to take down the Dolphins defense.
You don't love the Jackson and Kelly combination. You prefer the Jackson and Kyle combination. Is that correct?
Yes. Jackson and Kyle aren't NFL talents, but greater than Kelly and Jackson.
Yes. That's not true at all, but okay, whatever. We'll pretend it is. I mean, Dolphins been fun. I feel like this is destined. I think this could be a close game. I think I'd go to Dolphins, but I wouldn't be shocked if the Chargers find a way to win, even though I feel like these teams talent-wise maybe aren't that far off, but I don't know. I mean, it's still the Dolphins defense didn't look great last night or last week, but then Tua led them to a win. So I don't know what to make of this team. I could see the Dolphins winning out. I could see the Dolphins still missing the playoffs. They're a wild card for me.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I mean, I think it's an interesting team to look at throughout the season. I think that they're going to be good enough. I like what I saw at a 2-2.
Yeah. All right. So now I will now you give me a game.
Yes. All right.
I've been terrible at this.
You're good. I'm going to go Broncos Raiders.
Okay. I had this one next as well. So we're back to being on the same page. I mean, obviously the Raiders are seemingly the team that's going to win this one. I think the way that the Raiders lose this game, which I actually do think there is some upset potential. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think maybe I should have picked that one, the one before, just because you feel like the way that the Raiders could lose this game is if the Broncos defense, which has at times showed up, it has at times not showed up. If it can find a way to show up and at least just limit the Raiders a bit, and if Drew Lock can go off against a bad Raiders defense, which I wouldn't be shocked if he does, you could maybe see Denver finding a way to pull it out. The Raiders are clearly the better team, in my opinion, but you could see maybe the matchups come into play a little bit, and then Denver could get it close, and if they can get some luck on their side, they could pull it out.
Yeah, I mean, everything you said there is perfectly fair. I would still take the Raiders. They're clearly if you're just looking at position groups and teams, this or sides of the football for offense, defense, and special teams, this Raiders offense is just the best thing on this field compared to the rest of the position groups. I think by a pretty substantial margin. I guess the question I have for Denver is: are they going to let Drew Lock throw before the fourth quarter, or are they going to do that again where they wait for him to throw in the fourth?
Right. And, I'm working on a video about Drew Lock. A lot of what happened in those first quarters as well was it was just like these little small things that would turn, he would get sacked. This Broncos offensive line was horrible last week. It was abysmal. I mean, that's part of how Locke has been able to be successful in the fourth quarters because the opposing defensive linemen are just tired of sacking him all game so that now he can finally get some time to throw. And so for the Raiders, where pass rush has been a bit of an issue outside of Max Crosby, I do wonder if they fail to get to Locke, could he carve up this defense? I still think I like the Raiders in this one because, like you said, their offense is so much better. And, but if the good Denver defense shows up, which it's been hit or miss, and if the good Drew Lock shows up, who's been hit or miss, the Raiders could be in trouble. But the chances are at least one of those things won't show up and the Raiders will get the win.
Yeah, no, I agree 100% with that. I just think that they're going to be able to put up points and put up yards. I've been saying it all year. Denver had too many injuries. Speaking of that offensive line, was it James that opted out from the right tackle?
Yeah, Jawan James, I believe.
Yeah, they're missing him. They're missing Von Miller, obviously. I just think that there's too many missing pieces from this Broncos team to keep it competitive.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. Broncos are a very interesting team. Hard to get a great grip on them because they've been very hot and cold. All right, let's move on. I'm going to give you a game. I'm going to give you my team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers here. We both have them pretty low on our list. They obviously coming off of the big loss, but playing a frisky Panthers team. Who do you got?
Buccaneers. Is this line is right? -4.5 Panthers. Do you have it the other way?
I might have had it on the wrong team. It's possible I had it on the wrong team. I probably did. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I think I got Tampa Bay in this one. I think they're going to play angry. I think they're pissed after last game. I think they're embarrassed. I think they're going to blow them out.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Like, I think that there's a real chance that they just blow them out. And, I made a 37-minute video on that blowout game, mostly just because I started watching tape and it's had so much to say about it. Some of the things that I noticed, if you didn't watch that video, Antonio Brown and Mike Evans were both actually really good in that game. And, the offensive line gave Brady zero time. A lot of it was because Ali Marpet was hurt. And just the Saints just find a way to get pressure on Tampa Bay for whatever reason. I mean, they've been good. I believe they've been the best at getting pressure to the quarterback since Davenport has come back. So that's made a huge difference. But still, I mean, Tampa Bay is not going to have to worry about that as much with Carolina. Carolina can get to the quarterback as well, just not as much. And I do think that I could see this being a thing where we see Brady just go off and throw for like 400 yards and their defense just shuts down Carolina. But who knows? I mean, Carolina's been good, and Carolina nearly beat the team that I think is the best in football right now, Kansas City.
Yeah. I mean, I think they definitely competed in that one. I just think, they're missing McCaffrey again, which, tough break for anyone who drafted him number 1 overall for your fantasy reasons. But, I just think that without him, I don't think running backs have a huge impact on games. But at the same time, I do think there is a drop-off between him and Mike Davis, obviously. And I think that's going to affect some of the offense. That played, I thought, pretty well against Kansas City, who did have Chris Jones out, but I think that matters. I just think Tampa Bay is going to come out guns blazing in this one, and I think they're going to win this one pretty handily by 2 touchdowns at least. I just thought the Saints had too many guys on the defensive line. They got that one white guy who's just a menace. I forget his name. I just think that Tampa Bay is just going to be able to light them up.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope you're right. You talked me into maybe thinking I should have put him lower. All right, your turn to give me a game.
All right. Let's go Cincinnati, Pittsburgh. The remaining unbeaten team. Let's just pick this one. Go ahead and go for it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm going to pick Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's coming off of a weird game where they nearly lost to Dallas. This seems like an obvious trap game for Pittsburgh, but part of me wonders if just because they had that happen last week, if they're going to be like a lot more focused this week to not let that happen again. I thought about putting this one higher, and then I just remembered you're going to have Bud Dupree and TJ Watt going up against this Cincinnati Bengals offensive line. Burrow is going to have negative time to try to throw the ball. He's going to have no time whatsoever. I just can't see you winning a football game with that bad of a matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I think half of the Steelers' defensive line could show up, and I think they still could hit Joe Burrow probably 10 times in this game. Yeah, I mean, I think that the Steelers should win this one pretty handily. But, I think that this Cincinnati team has been really impressive this year, given expectations impressive. I would say, obviously the results aren't there, but isn't this kind of best case scenario for Cincinnati this season?
Yeah, absolutely. Still get at least a decent draft pick, and your quarterback looks legit, and you can continue to improve in the future. Yeah, I mean, Cincinnati was never going to the playoffs this year. I remember, except for a few Cincinnati fans in our preview for that division who thought we were way too low on them. I mean, this is a pretty good thing. Oh, I think people are saying in the chat, I think I might have said JJ Watt instead of TJ Watt. Sorry, you know what I meant. You got it. We're good. Although one thing worth mentioning about this game, it looks like Ben Roethlisberger I think he's probably going to play. He has been placed on the reserve for close contact. Last week, I totally thought that Matt Stafford wasn't going to play because he was on there, and then he played, and I looked like an idiot. So probably Roethlisberger will end up playing Sunday. But there is the chance that Rudolph starts. But honestly, I still think the Steelers win this game with Rudolph.
Yeah, I mean, I think so too. I think Cincinnati, if they can keep Burrow healthy this season, is going to be the biggest thing, because you like a lot of what you see out of this offense. You need to rebuild this offensive line. But yeah, I mean, that's not the weakness you want to have against this Pittsburgh team. There's just too many good players on the defensive line. They're just going to be a menace against them.
Yeah. Here's a thought I just had. Would there be any logic behind sort of Steven Strasburging Joe Burrow and sort of having him not play like the last 4 games of the season?
I don't feel like it's the same. I don't think that I don't think so. I think that reps are more important right now. Obviously, you just hope he doesn't take a shot to the knee or something.
Yeah.
But I mean, I just think that reps as a young player in football are too important compared to baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Different reasons, but yeah. All right. So now I'm going to give you a game. I mean, I'll give you this game. It's somehow only a 3-point line. The Texans at the Browns. This is crazy to me that this is a 3-point line, because Cleveland is home, and usually they say 3-point line for the home team. Not sure if that comes into effect with COVID, but somehow they say that Cleveland is only 3-point favorites. I know you are a big Cleveland Browns stan. Who do you got in this one?
Yeah, I actually almost had this game higher, because it's like, even with this Texans team, it's like it's terrifying to pick against Deshaun sometimes. And especially the way him and Fuller have played, it's terrifying to pick against this team. But I just think that Myles Garrett's the best defensive player in football. He's up there with Aaron Donald, obviously. He continues to play at a really high level. And this Texans defense stinks, man. This AFC South might have two of the 2 worst defenses in football. And that's not even including Tennessee, who might be bottom 10 this year. I just think that them and the Jaguars stink in defense. I don't think they're going to be able to stop anything. It doesn't matter who's quarterbacking for the Browns. I think they're going to have no problem moving the football.
Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why I'm giving you this game, is because you can't imagine a path that Houston wins, right? You imagine that Deshaun Watson just completely goes off and scores 5 touchdowns, and then Baker Mayfield throws a couple interceptions. Like, that's the pathway. And there's a chance that happens, but that chance seems like 15%, 20%. More likely, Cleveland will be able to get a couple of stops. And listen, with Myles Garrett out there, Deshaun Watson loves to run into sacks. He could definitely do that with Garrett out there. And you could also just see the Cleveland Browns just running for 250 yards and easily winning this game.
Yeah. I mean, I just think that it's the Browns are clearly the better team. It's just, there's a huge disparity in this matchup. No matter who the quarterback is, it seems like Mayfield's going to play. But there's a huge disparity between the 2 quarterbacks, and the worst team has the way better quarterback. And that makes you terrified to pick against it.
Yeah. That is true. But then again, I think that's why the Texans are just like this head scratching team, because we've been doing this for basically every, we've been saying about the Texans basically almost every week, and they're 2-6. So like they do keep losing these games. The chances are they're going to lose this one, but you never know.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. You never know. I just think that Cleveland's going to have a lot of success.
Yeah, probably. All right, we can move on. So now your last pick for me. There's 2 games left. It's the Jaguars Packers, also your team, the Patriots, against the Ravens. Who are you going to give to me, and then also give your by proxy, you're giving yourself a game as well?
All right. Why are the Ravens going to beat the Patriots? I guess if I set the line right now at 235 yards rushing for the Baltimore Ravens, are you taking the over or are you taking the over?
I mean, no. I mean that would be. Yeah, I mean that they're going to run for a lot. We'll just say that. This is going to be This is definitely a mismatch. We saw how New England didn't really play well against Baltimore last year when they were a much better team. Basically they're a similar team, just with a lot less. The only small way maybe Baltimore loses this one is if Bill Belichick just has like the perfect game plan. But I just feel like the talent level is too different. The game plan's not going to matter. And I guess the only other way you could, here's what I'll say. This could be interesting. I'll be interested to see how Baltimore plays against Cam Newton. I thought Cam Newton played well against the Jets. He was one of the bright spots. They might see him run more because the secondary is so good. I don't think you want to be throwing the ball a lot against it. You could see a lot of running plays. And I know Damian Harris got hurt. I don't know the extent of that injury. Maybe it just seems like this New England team has a 1% chance to win. It's never 0, but it's about as low as it can get.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that you look at the I think that weirdly our defense can match up with Kansas City because we have enough guys in that secondary with some speed that we can throw at those fast receivers, and I think that's why we kind of stuck in that game a little bit despite our offense cratering. But this is just, if you were to pick a good team to match up against the Patriots, it's probably your worst case scenario. It's probably this team. We saw it just a couple weeks ago with San Francisco and the way they were able to just end the game instantly because they could run all over us. And Jimmy G didn't have to do a whole lot, but when he did, he had wide open guys because they're dedicated so much to the run and still couldn't stop it. When it was Jeff Wilson Jr., obviously it seems like missing Ronnie Stanley is hurting. But I just don't think it's going to matter against the Patriots right now.
Yeah. If the Patriots and Ravens merge together, a la the Steagles, who from the Patriots would start? I think maybe a couple O-line guys.
I think some of that interior offensive line would start. I could see McCourty starting in the back at free safety, and I think Gilmore would play opposite Humphrey.
Do you think so? Yeah, I even feel like at this state, you could even argue maybe Gilmore might be a third corner here.
Yeah, I mean he's been hurt, so obviously not playing. But I still think that this secondary has a lot of good pieces. He got burned a couple times, but came back with the pick. J.C. Jackson's awesome. I love J.C. Jackson. I continue to sing the praises of J.C. Jackson. He's going to be a future number 1 cornerback in this league. Maybe as soon as next year when they trade Gilmore. I think he's really good. He struggled a couple plays against the Jets, but for the most part, he's been solid for his entire career. But yeah, I mean, the Ravens could throw the ball like 5 times in this game, and it wouldn't matter. They'd still win by a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, and I mean, even the secondary was disappointing. I mean, against the Jets, they gave up over 10 yards per attempt. I know it's without Gilmore, so I get it. But you got to find a way to get Joe Flacco away from the Brett Favre zone.
Yeah, I know that's fair. So
yeah, I mean, it's just not the year. Patriots are rebuilding. It's fine.
Yep, it's transition year. So
yeah,
but yeah, so they're gonna lose by a lot. It's gonna be ugly.
Yeah, and I don't get all these people too that are like, it's like the Patriots. It's like the Patriots are going to be fine next year. They're going to get like half their team back, and they're going to have I think the third most money to spend this next season, and they're going to get a good pick. This dynasty is not quite over just yet. Don't get too excited, Pats haters. But yeah.
Well, when Xavier Mac Jones comes in next year.
Yes. Yeah. I wanted to make a video on Mac Jones. I got to watch tape on him, or at least it's interesting. All right. So final game, you get Jaguars, Packers. It's a tough one. You might have to flip a coin. Who are you going to go with?
Packers.
Yeah. All right. So that's our show. Thank you for yeah. I'll even feel this right away. They don't even. I believe we're going with Jake Luton here, which is interesting. I thought he played well his first game again, but it seems like the way he's going to have to win this game it's going to be like one of those Madden games. I'm not sure if anyone played like Ultimate Team. I played it like back in like 5-7 years ago, and there was a point when literally if you didn't score a touchdown you were going to lose the game because it was like so easy to score on offense. It kind of feels like that's the way Jacksonville has to win, is get like one turnover, force one fumble, and then just score every time.
Yeah, I mean they give up, what is it here, almost 8 yards per pass, net yards gained per pass attempt for defense. They are 8.1 net yards gained per pass attempt. That's the worst in the league. That's the highest in football right now. I think Rodgers could just have like 5 touchdowns in this game easy. This Jaguars defense, I think, is the worst in the league. I think the thing is that you look at what Jacksonville is. Hey, we have some guys that I think can get some points here. I think James Robinson could look pretty good in this one, especially with that Packers front rushing defense not being very good. But I just think, there's no way they're keeping up with this game. This is a 0.1% chance.
Yeah, well, is this just the game that you try to run the ball every possession, make their, try to do what Minnesota did, give Green Bay only 6 possessions like they had against Minnesota, and just hope that you get a couple of stops?
Yeah, I think, probably. I mean, I think that's pretty much going to be any team who's probably this big of a underdog to Green Bay. I think that's going to be the game plan until this run defense shows that they can stop anybody. But yeah, I mean, I think that's going to be the game plan for everybody, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to keep up with this team, especially when your defense just stinks.
Yeah, I like Robinson, but this running offense also just isn't what Minnesota's was. Papa Minos says, the great Papa Minos, this is the weekly Packers 9-9-9, a bunch of 9s, Jaguars -10 game. Also, Eli Mullins saying, finally, first week Jets aren't the last pick. Yeah, finally, Jets on the bye week. We still probably would have picked the bye week to win that one, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, good on us not being. We don't get to make fun of the Jets this week, which is a little unfortunate. But at the same time, we can make fun of the Jaguars just as easily.
Yeah, the Jaguars are neat, but I kind of like the Jaguars. They have my name in the city name.
Yeah.
If there was a Kyletown Cougars, I'm pretty sure you would like them.
I guess.
All right. Well, I think that's our show. Kyle, any final thoughts before we sign off?
No, I think we just about covered it. I'm looking forward to watching the billion points scored in Buffalo, Arizona. I think there's going to be some fun games this week. So looking forward to that and some college football action.
I'm also looking forward to the 6 points getting scored in the Minnesota-Chicago game. So it should be a fun week. I think the game of the week is the one tomorrow. That one's I'm looking forward to. Thank you to everyone in the chat who hung out here with us, even Joe Biden with his gross profile picture. Thank you to everyone. Appreciate it. And also thank you to anyone who's watching after the fact. Always appreciate it. And of course, as always, have a good one.
Peace.